Next, though, accusations of social engineering against a Conservative council in London. People living on a council estate in Hammersmith and Fulham say their homes are to be demolished, and they fear the council wants to replace the flats with posh apartments, so Labour voters, they say, can be moved out and Tory voters can be moved in.
Hammersmith and Fulham Council strongly deny any suggestion of so-called gerrymandering, and they've given a public guarantee that all tenants will be offered alternative homes in the area. Here's our political correspondent Simon Harris.
It sits in the shadow of Earl's Court and in the way of developers. The West Kensington Estate in Fulham is typical of many 1970s council housing schemes. It's home to 1,600 people, but under ambitious plans to redevelop Earl's Court after the Olympics, the entire estate could be bulldozed. The West Kensington may not be the worst housing estate in London, but it's certainly shabby. The local council believes the residents would be better off in brand new homes. But how that is achieved is at the centre of a bitter political row.
What they're trying to do is get rid of some of the Labour supporters in that ward and put them in other wards where they don't do any damage to the Conservatives, and then take over the marginal ward.
That claim by Charlie Treloggan, a former Labour councillor and long-time estate tenant, is what makes this row potentially explosive. Today, he and a group of fellow residents were invited to the Labour conference in Brighton, where they accused Conservative-controlled Hammersmith and Fulham Council of gerrymandering.
I think it's disgusting. I think that there's no place in London for normal working people if they get away with this.
It's worse than gerrymandering because it's to take away the property rights of an entire section of the population, those that enjoy the benefits of being council tenants.
Some estate residents believe this row echoes the case of Dame Shirley Porter, the Westminster council leader behind the Homes for Votes scandal in the 80s, a notorious episode in local government.
They're hard to get rid of. The Tory leader of Hammersmith and Fulham moans about his council tenants.
Labour believes it can use the row over the West Kensington estate to embarrass David Cameron. Hammersmith and Fulham is said to be his favourite Conservative council. The council leader is adamant the residents have nothing to fear.
At this stage, we've issued a cast-iron guarantee. No one is going to be made homeless. We will build new housing, better housing for these people before we empty and demolish anything.
The council says any claim that Labour voters will be shipped out is a lie. If the redevelopment goes ahead, everyone who lives here will get a new home in the same area. But that's a promise some residents simply don't believe. Simon Harris, London Tonight, Brighton.
Labour have warned that a Conservative government would cut social housing, hike up rents and radically change the way homes are allocated. At the party's conference, the Housing Minister John Healey chose a Conservative-run London borough to highlight the dangers ahead for tenants. Well, our political editor Tim Donovan is in Brighton for us tonight. Tim, so which council came under fire?
The council is Hammersmith and Fulham, sometimes described nowadays as David Cameron's favourite authority for what it's achieving there. There has been a local protest campaign growing over the last few weeks and months against plans by Hammersmith and Fulham to knock down and redevelop certainly 2 estates in the near future and perhaps several others more long-term. And today that local campaign had its moment here in Brighton.
It's not right, is it?
I think it's disgusting, absolutely disgusting. As I say, why destroy a whole community?
Maureen rents, Richard owns, but they're now fighting for the same thing. They don't want their homes on the West Kensington estate demolished, worried about what will follow.
Why should we have new homes? If we have new homes, the council have given us a guarantee that we will be rehoused within the area, but they're not saying whereabouts in the area. We don't want to be moved.
The way that this borough, which is supposed to be a flagship borough, is treating residents of all tenures is absolutely disgraceful. This is cartel conservatism.
Tenants took their concerns to Labour's conference today.
Our Tory council have come along and they want to rub us off the map.
Social housing is warehousing poverty. It's hard to get rid of people from their homes.
Now Labour's leadership have the Tory-led Hammersmith and Fulham Council firmly in their sights. A laboratory, they claim, for future Tory policy.
They want to equalise rents That means driving up the rents for council tenants and housing association tenants 2 or 3 times. They also want to cut back the security that people have in their own home. So your home would be on the line with just 2 months' notice period.
Built in 1974, the West Kensington Estate is certainly shabby in places. The council says redevelopment will be better for everyone and dismisses the scaremongering.
In our first term of office, we've built nearly 900 social rented housing units. That's more than most boroughs in London, despite being a small borough. John Healey's got an election to win. We're getting into the silly season. I totally disregard his absurd comments.
Tenants left Brighton today grateful for support, but wondering what difference it will make in the end.
Tim, this could clearly become a big election issue, couldn't it?
No question of that, and no question that Labour think this is an area for a fight back. Labour MPs going around saying that the Conservatives have secret plans here, and you can see them in embryo at Hammersmith and Fulham. They point out that Stephen Greenhouse, the leader there you saw, advises, is a deep thinker on housing, advises David Cameron, and questions are being raised about what will happen to tenancies, what will happen to rents. Hammersmith and Fulham Council say that they're doing just what any right-minded authority should be doing, taking a look at housing stock which is coming to the end of its natural life and proposing ways of creating modern, new mixed communities. And they're insisting tonight there's no suggestion they're going to reduce overall the amount of social housing or decant tenants away from their communities. But yes, quite clearly, this area is going to be one of some contention over the coming months.
OK, Tim, from Brighton, thank you.